Growing up in Brazil with 8 brothers and sisters, Romero Britto excelled in the classroom, but art was his passion. He traveled to Europe in 1983 to study the masters, and after exhibiting in a few private shows, he was encouraged to travel to the United States, where pop art was flourishing, the art of popular culture. Britto moved to Miami and opened up his studio to the public. He's a modern-day pop culture icon and is the youngest and most successful pop artist of his generation. I hope that you get inspired by his artwork, and as we begin, we're going to start out with some printmaking. Grab 4 colored pieces of paper at the back table. When you have your 4 pieces of construction paper, grab some white paint, and for our first printmaking experience, we're just going to be using a marker to print some circles all throughout our paper. Okay, set that aside, and grabbing our second sheet of paper, I'm going to be using a piece of cardboard to start adding on some more printmaking designs. So with my cardboard, I'm just going to be printing on some different striped or X-shaped pattern. You do not have to do this type of pattern, just use your tag board or cardboard to create the pattern that you want to make onto your piece of paper. Another type of printmaking. Onto the third piece of paper. When I get my next piece of paper, I'm going to be doing something very similar, only this time I'm using bubble wrap. So with my bubble wrap, I'm painting it with a paintbrush with my white paint again. And once I've got my bubble wrap, I'm going to set it on the opposite side and print that onto the paper. Adding a little bit more paint, print it one more time. Cool designs! Now, let's go on to my fourth piece of paper. On my fourth piece of paper, I'm going to be doing something very similar again, using some foam shapes. Your shapes might not be the same as mine, but whatever shapes that you do get, go ahead and paint it with your paintbrush. Turn it over kind of like a stamp so that you can stamp your image onto that last piece of paper. It does not matter what order you go to when you make your printmaking stations, just as long as you have 4 different experiences by the time that you're done. Now, after those have dried, I'm grabbing a piece of black paper, but I wasn't quite sure where the center was, so I'm going to fold it in half so that I have an idea of where I should put my 4 pieces of dried construction paper. That fold line is pretty helpful so that I know exactly where the center is and that I can put them into a nice, interesting pattern onto my black papered background. I think this will help emphasize the shape that I put on, and this is now my background paper. I like to flip it over and rub on the backside to ensure that the glue is sticking well. Don't forget to put your name on the back. Now, grabbing a sheet of white paper, go ahead and draw out a heart shape that has 2 straight lines and then a pattern that you can use to fill it in. I'll then grab my Sharpie and outline over my pencil lines. I like to use an ink dauber that'll give me a nice thick line, kind of reminding you of Britto's artwork too. Now, when you start to color with marker, I like to choose the lightest colors. So when I'm picking out my blue and I notice that I have a dark blue and a light blue, my light blue is going to work out best for this assignment. Dark colors might not work out so well because Britto used a lot of bright colors. Think back to the videos that we saw of Britto's artwork as well as the images that we saw at the beginning of this video. They're going to be pretty bright. We really want that black to stand out, and you can leave some areas white if you would like to, but I know for my example, I'm just going to go ahead and use lots of bright colors and color it first. Because these colors are light colors, I can always go back and start putting on the patterns on top of the light color. So remember how Britto had so many patterns into his artwork? That's what I want to do now too. This is when the darker colors can be used to make whatever kind of pattern that I want onto my project. So light colors to color and darker colors that you can use to start putting on your patterns on top. That should save you some time and really make your images stand out. I sure had fun making this project, and I hope you do too. Enjoy watching the rest of the video and have fun!